Hey, everybody. Welcome to the mid-month, I guess technically at this point, the end-month cavalcade. I'm your host. I guess I'm not really moderating anything. I guess I'm just walking you through everything. My name's Bruce. Hey, thank you so much for listening. A couple of quick notes. First, we want to thank our sponsors, Power to the Meeple at powertothemeeple.com. Find great prices, find great selection, help a whole bunch of podcasts and the Spiel Foundation. Check out powertothemeeple.com. We also want to thank all of our Patreon backers at patreon.com, listeners like you, for sponsoring the show. I'm going to jump in first with an apology. I'm sorry this is coming out so late. It is coming out so late. Now, bear with me. It's going to sound dark for a minute. It's not going to be just continue to listen. I have developed an addiction. Not a terrible addiction, but no addiction's great. I've gotten addicted to a video game called Slay the Spire. If you know what this game is, you understand why this can be a problem. If you don't, I will tell you about it, but I will warn you. If you are not looking for a game to really get a hold of you and take a lot of your hours away, sometimes when you don't mean for it to, do not play this game. For me, the last video game that got a hold of me like this was Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers Ultimate, when it came out, I just had to keep playing till I unlocked every character, so it was 75 hours worth of time before I could look up from the screen till I had unlocked everybody. For this one, Slay the Spire, and this is why I'll talk about it here. Slay the Spire essentially is what happens if you take a deck building game and combine it into a video game so that the video game can do its stuff. So first, it's a roguelike, which means it's sort of procedurally generated, and you just have this tree you climb up where you fight people and open treasure chests and get more cards to add to your deck and then go to stores to buy more cards. And it is fantasy themed and still I love it. As a deck building game, it is really great because every turn is yours. So you go through part of the game, you're fighting things or you're playing the cards that you've built in your deck, and then you are leaving the end of battles, you're getting new cards, you're getting new things that can help you in potions and relics and all kinds of stuff that can help you do things in future battles, and then you're moving along this little map up to the top of the spire, as it were, to fight a boss. Once you've fought the third boss, you have in theory beaten the game, but have you though? That's what essentially what the game. The game's like, I don't know if you've beaten it though. I have so far beaten it 3 times, and it's still telling me, I don't know, man. I'm in the 4th challenge, which is a whole thing you need to do, and then I don't know what happens past that. But I've been really addicted to it, and every time I say, hey, I'm going to go edit the cavalcade, I'll just slay the spire real quick, and then 2.5 hours disappears, and I'm tired, it's late, and my eyes are crossed. So, just warning you all, it might get a hold of you too. Video games, and specifically Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is available in, everything. I got it on Nintendo Switch. I know it's on Steam. I think it might even be free on Xbox if you have the Xbox membership. I think that's one of the games you get. I'll just warn you that you can stop in the middle, but you're not going to. And if you're real good at it, a game can take an hour and a half to 2 hours where you're just straight playing. And that is why this is coming out on the 30th of a 31-day month. So I do genuinely apologize for that, but all of a sudden looked up from Slay the Spire and realized what had happened. So we're going to jump in. We will be talking about video games later in the episode. So it's kind of a video game themed thing we're doing here today. But first we're going to talk about food. We're going to jump into our episode of What the Food? What the Food? On this one, I don't have much to tell you as we lead in, except just everything was real tasty. If you like to hear us scream and be mad at food, this is probably not your episode. But we did really like everything we got here. All of the stuff that we got, I believe this is one of the Japanese episodes, where it's everything we got from Japan, which the reason we could do that is because of the support of all of you, and we thank you so much. So you know what? Let's jump in. I'll talk to you some more in between the 2 shows. So I'll be back in just a little while. Hey, patrons!
Hey!
From Patreon.
Woo.
Welcome.
Is that where they live now?
That is where I believe that's where their residence is. Yeah, I believe that's where they get mail.
Patreons on Patreon.
Yeah, all the Patreons on Patreon. Welcome to What the Food?
What the Food?
I'm your moderator, Bruce. Joining me on the show is Rocky.
That is me.
And Mike.
That is not me.
And Brian.
I'm ready to eat stuff.
And also an additional Brian.
Hey.
Hey. How's
What's up?
Nothing much. It's late and we're eating things.
Yep.
Do we do this on this one? I didn't think we did this on this one.
But we usually don't, but I figured at the point it was starting, I wasn't going to stop it.
Well, me asking actually makes it worse, so
yeah,
it's fine.
How dare you
not-
take away from my awkward experience with Bruce?
This isn't the one where we fight. That was the other one.
Yeah, that is in fact the other one. So
This is all sweetness and light.
So we're jumping in. So it's crunchy things. It's an all crunchy things episode. We're eating a few crunchy things. Rocky, talk to us about what in the world we're doing here.
So a while back, we placed a very large order with Japan Hall.
Thanks to all of you, and we cannot thank you enough.
Thank you. So we got in some Japanese snacks. So some of these are from Japan. One of them is not. Ooh.
See if you can guess which.
Yeah. So we're gonna open with one that you might not be able to tell if I don't tell you. It is sour cream and onion Doritos. Limited edition.
So I've heard a lot about these on other shows and stuff, and supposedly they're very good. So
Really?
I'm hoping.
I mean,
but they're
that's
not available in this country anymore. I
Okay.
believe.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
flavor that other
Spoiler.
chips come in, but I guess Doritos don't.
Yeah, spoilers. These are Japanese. That's the only thing I can read on the bag is Doritos Limited, and on the back, sour cream and onion.
Okay, so this is spoilers, but we won't tell them where the other two are from, and they'll have to guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like what I know about this one is it maybe was available very briefly in the U.S., but has
Really?
been available in Japan like consistently even after it was killed in
I
the
feel
U.S.
like, yeah, this probably got replaced with Cool Ranch, is my guess.
I could see that.
They're similar. It sounds similar anyway.
Yeah.
How's it smell?
I'm not sure.
Did you just open up the side of that
That's the
bag?
only way it would
I
open.
ripped it
couldn't-
open.
It's really thick packaging, unlike
It is.
a regular one. Let me
It's-
not drop it on the.
It's almost like one of the ones that's made to be like a Dorito salad.
They're also much smaller than American Doritos.
Something,
they're
something,
tiny little
Japan.
triangles.
Insert
I
jokes
can't
about
tell
fat
you what-
Americans here.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I cannot
Not
tell
the
you what
joke I
that
was
smells
thinking
like. It sure smells
Does it smell sour cream and oniony?
kind of.
Yeah, it smells like if you get like a sour cream and onion mix
Little,
Yeah.
but
that
there's
you
a-
can
I mean,
mix
that
and make your
corn
own dip.
Smell the corn chip smell.
Why
too.
would there be a corn chip smell in a Dorito?
It just
And
What
we're
is
done
that
here.
smell?
yeah.
No,
it's
it
a
is-
weird mix. Like it all comes
Yeah.
together in a strange
It
way.
And
does
there's a
smell like
funky-
like an onion pack.
Yeah, like an onion
soup pack.
dumped into
little bit,
sour
yeah.
cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you make your French onion dip, but you just mix it with sour cream. It smells funky-ish.
Huh. What are you doing, Doritos?
I'm so confused.
That's delightful.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Weird.
sweet at first, and then savory, and kind of a hint of onion and black pepper hits you.
It's almost like caramelized onion and sour cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is way more subtle than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
kind of does taste like that French onion dip powder that you're supposed to add to sour cream and make
Yeah.
your own
Yeah,
dip
that
because
is-
it's all those flavors.
That is really, really good. And as someone who,
Yeah.
like, for Doritos, I'm much more a fan of Cool Ranch
Okay.
Me
than I
too.
am of nacho cheese. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like nacho cheese stuff in general. Cool Ranch is great. This hits a lot of the stuff I like about Cool Ranch in a much different flavor that's really very nice.
These almost, one thing too, it's been a while since I've had Doritos, but these feel like they're almost baked or so. Like they have that texture of something that like Doritos, when they try to pretend they're healthier,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they kind of have that like baked Lay's feeling or whatever. Something, just the texture on them seems a little different, or they're whole grain or something.
These are just super fantastic. Oh my word.
Yeah, I could eat a lot of these. They should bring these to America.
Yeah.
Yeah, America. Why don't you like these enough?
Yeah.
Gosh.
For
These
real
are
though.
amazing.
Seriously, if only you had a company like Frito-Lay to make.
Right.
Wait a minute.
If only it was super easy to add random flavor powders to pre-made chips.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. So I feel like I have a good feeling in the room here. Normally I don't like to do this. I don't like to be this bold to just call everybody at the same time, but I'm going to try this as a group one. Hey, would you take it to a party?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's cost prohibitive, but otherwise, yes.
Well,
True.
also it might not make it.
No, you
all
know
the way
what?
to
You
a
know, hold
party.
on a second. Yeah, I was gonna say Mike's answer is great.
Yeah.
These are so good that if I had a bag of them, I'm eating them all myself.
Yeah.
They're very nice.
I might
I'd need
intend to
several.
take them to the party, but if the party is too far away, they might not make it.
If I could access, because this is also a small bag, if I had access to like a couple of the full-size bags, one would be for me and the
Yeah.
rest I would share with other people. But just this one little bag, I mean,
They're so good.
I wish other people could have them, but somehow there aren't any left. You can smell the bag.
My bad.
Yeah. And this is a crazy, so like we've done a ton of these over the years. And normally we each eat like one or two of whatever the thing is. And if you really like it, you'll like grab the bag while people are talking and you'll eat one more. This is a rare case where like we're all just grabbing the bag as fast as we can to get a couple more before they're gone because we do not have any more. And that is not normal for us. Like we'll eat one or two happily, and once we turn all the microphones off, like we'll kind of munch in a couple more and talk about what we like. It's rare that while we're talking about it, we're still trying to grab it and get more of them. This is fantastic.
We've actually, usually we'll pass the bag around after it gets opened up, and we'll each take, one or two of whatever it is so that we can get a taste of it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But this time we've passed the bag around multiple times completely.
Yes,
Like we're I need more of this.
yeah.
And you're going to need
apologies in
more of this, and
advance
you're going to need
for
more.
if there's any excessive chewing noises on
Yeah.
this, since we've all
Yeah.
pretty much just been eating as much as we can while we're talking.
Yeah, because normally it maybe the bag makes a second circuit at most,
Yeah.
but that's it. Because we've learned we're eating a bunch of snack chips. Don't kill the first bag. 'Cause
Yeah.
by the third bag, you'll be full.
And to be fair, a lot of the foods on here, there's at least some division, it seems, on
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad.
Mhm.
But it's rare that you get like an absolute universal, like 100%, like super thumbs up
Yeah.
from everyone. And this is one of those cases where that's clearly what happened.
Yeah, it's just about gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely. And I would say, at least compared to other things, it is a less weird flavor combo.
Yes.
Which is probably why we have more universal agreement. But it is really well done too.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. When we picked this up, I think we only got it because we were like, oh, it's a Japanese exclusive flavor of a brand that people that listen to the show are going to know. So we always try to get those. Like if we can get a Lay's or a Kit Kat or a Doritos or a thing that like we feel like you out there listening understand and we can get it from somewhere that you haven't tried, we try to get those. And that's the only reason we did this. I think we even talked about it when you were picking it out and we were like, do we really get this? Is this really worth doing? And we're like, well, it's Doritos. It'll be, at least it is brand recognition. Let's give it a try. And this is one of the best snacks maybe I've ever had.
I don't know if I'd go
bold.
quite that far, but it's
It's
definitely
real
one of the
good.
best ones we've had on this show.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if I
Yeah.
had the choice between this and Cool Ranch, if I had the choice, I'm probably picking this.
oh, I'm definitely picking
my-
both.
yeah.
It's close for me, and I really like Cool Ranch Doritos. Like really like them.
I think Cool Ranch still wins for me because I love it so much. But I mean, this is a strong contender.
For me, I like the spicy Doritos, and these aren't spicy, and that's the only thing that these. But like the spicy nachos are my
Yeah.
favorite, and these are an even tie. I can't pick a favorite because they're not trying to do the same thing. But like that's why I don't like Cool Ranch as much.
Do you want to know what the worst Doritos are? They're white nacho ones.
They don't taste like anything.
Yeah, you can only get them. The only place I've seen them is at high schools in the vending machines that are supposed to be healthier because they're like reduced calorie snack bags. And that's the only place I've seen that flavor. It's a white bag.
I know I had it somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, they are-
'Cause- Yeah, I remember the white, and they don't taste like
Yeah.
it. They taste like plain
Cardboard.
corn chips with no flavor and no salt.
They're not good.
Yeah,
Get on it, America.
corn flour.
For
Delicious.
real America. So let's move on to our second chip.
So these are Trader Joe's turkey and stuffing seasoned kettle chips.
Remember, we're not telling you where the second two are from. You have to figure it out.
Yeah. All the flavors of Thanksgiving in each potato chip. Ooh, there's more holy moly, that is
Oh, yeah,
tiny
there is.
script. Hang on. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Trader Joe's is verbose.
Hang on, Grandma has to get this real close to her face. Hold on. It's like script and stuff. All right. Turkey and stuffing seasoned what? Potato chips that taste like what? Have we absolutely lost our minds?
Yes.
Entirely possible. But if this is the end, what a way to go. Science fiction said that entire meals one day be available in a single pill. We one-upped sci-fi and delivered Thanksgiving dinner in the form of a potato chip. These thickly cut kettle-cooked chips are tossed in a seasoning that tastes like a tradition of American Thanksgiving meal. First you taste the turkey, then comes the stuffing, and if you close your eyes, you'll swear you can taste the creamy gravy too, even as you crunch. One thing you won't be able to do is stop at one chip. Would you stop at one forkful of Thanksgiving dinner? And then I turn into a turkey when I'm done.
I love
Yeah.
everything about this bag.
Violet, you're turning violet.
As someone who's been eating more snack foods from Trader Joe's, they're all like this. They've all done. It's something they've done recently, I think, but like they all have flavor. It's somebody in their marketing team.
Has
I
just
don't
decided.
know. Listens to our show and figured out what, like, because it's like this flavor text is made for us specific. Like, it's entertaining, but like it's the exact kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
Uh-oh.
I hope you like rosemary.
Oh yeah,
Rosemary's all right.
rosemary.
She's
and
a pretty
thyme,
good person.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems cool.
I usually put sage in my stuffing, but you know, whatever.
Here you go. Let me pass that back around.
What?
These
I especially
definitely
like
are
that these are kettle, because
Yeah.
I'm a huge
Yes.
fan of the kettle
Yeah.
chip.
very thick.
Yeah, they're sturdy.
Now that's thick with 2 C's.
Yeah,
That
they're
is
pretty
thick.
sexy.
That's a thick chip.
Thick boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
the last
girl.
thing you want, you need to have a thick. The last thing you want is for your Thanksgiving dinner to just crack in half real
No
quick
doubt.
and get
You
all
want a
greasy and stuff.
Substantial.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Ooh, I got a foldy boy.
And
Keep these away
Yeah.
from Slugworth, y'all.
I also really am amused. Yeah, it's all script.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody was writing out the Constitution.
It's real small, too.
And they're-
It is very small.
well, it's a
seriously.
lot of words.
What are you doing, Trader Joe's?
Neat.
What is going on here?
What?
Stuffing.
I am definitely tasting the fat of the turkey.
Yeah, and then it's almost creamy at the end. They were right in like you get those
That
flavors
order
in that
they
order.
picked. Yeah.
You get that kind of meaty like turkey with the skin on it flavor.
I get the turkey with the skin on it late. The skin part, because you definitely got that the spice, or maybe it's stuffing, but it's sort of the same spices that
It's
you would rub
similar.
the skin of the turkey with.
Yeah, but it's meaty in the front and then kind of herby and sweet and then
That's what she
creamy.
said?
So, in terms of ingredients, you definitely have turkey and stuffing seasoning in here, which has black pepper, turmeric, celery, parsley, sage, and thyme all in this. And you can definitely taste that. It tastes like a turkey with skin on.
Yeah.
Does anyone put turmeric on their turkey and or stuffing?
Um,
I've never had a yellow turkey or stuffing.
No, but I wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't in some of the more like commercially available rubs just to give it that yellow color.
Maybe. But I mean like it is a distinctive mustard yellow when you put turmeric on stuff.
That's true.
And
I do kinda
everything-
taste it in
I've
here,
never
though.
stained myself with stuffing.
Then
I've
you
certainly
haven't tried.
I've certainly spilled stuffing on myself.
Yeah.
Stain myself with gravy.
Well, yeah, but not stained myself yellow, just greasy stained.
Those are super interesting.
Yeah.
yeah. We've had 2 winners in a row. I'm eating more of these chips, too. This is not good.
Yeah, I will say I brought this bag because I had a bag at my house that I ate almost all of, even though I was supposed to share it. And I ate like 80% of it. It was delicious.
Dare I? I'm going to try this again. I don't know that this always works, but we'll try it again. Hey, would you take it to a party?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
Without
no
any-
one else is getting these. They're mine.
Yeah. I literally bought a second bag to bring, and I was like, if this isn't weird enough for the show, we're just going to eat it at the other party that we're having.
Yeah. I was gonna say like this is something that I think is a definite
Yeah.
definite for the party.
Yeah, if it
coming up.
lasts.
Yeah. This
Or
is,
you know, if
yeah.
you can find another one somehow.
Literally, Trader Joe's sells the ton of them. They have it's right down the street.
And I would say if you're out there, definitely this should be easy enough to get. If you have a Trader Joe's, you're going to be able to pick this up. And this is just that mix of like tasty and weird that is exactly if you're doing a What the Food party, because people do post them to us. And please, if you're out there and you do one, like we love to see this stuff because it's so amusing
yeah.
to us. But like if you're doing a What the Food party, you want this there because it's gettable. If you're a listener in the U.S., grab these. This is exactly what you want for a What the Food party.
Also worth noting that Trader Joe's snacks are usually short-lived. This is a really
Yeah.
popular one, so they're making more of it, but usually they'll just make one batch of it, and if people love it, then maybe 6 months later they'll make a batch.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
the
So-
season for this.
Yeah,
so
get it.
It
It's-
might be seasonal.
Yeah, it'll probably be around for a couple more weeks, but you should get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, damn if they didn't lie about, or they did not, tell the truth about the order you get those
Yeah.
flavors
Yeah.
and the
The
exact flavors you
snozberries taste
get.
like snozberries.
Like,
Yeah.
Snozberries.
man, like exactly that whole turkey with the skin on taste. Like you can taste the skin in these chips. It's so good.
Yeah.
And I have to say, listening to Rocky read the whole thing, I was like, I'm so glad they've written this and have lied like this and have such great lying writers because this is not going to work, but it's been very fun to hear. And yeah, damned if they didn't do it. Good work.
Yeah, I'm telling you, every snack food they make has that level of like creativity in the writing, and it's almost always right.
That's awesome.
Now, where is this next snack from?
You'll have to guess.
Well, it's made by Frito-Lay.
Nice.
That's an American
Yes.
company.
Nothing else on the bag is in English
Spoilers.
at all. There's so much text on
Definitely
here.
made in the U.S.
Like, enough that I almost kind of want to whip out Google Translate and see if it'll do any of it, but it's, like, all stylized, so it probably wouldn't work anyway.
Yeah.
But I do know that these are takoyaki puffs.
Another traditional American flavor.
Yes, obviously. So, takoyaki is a snack you can get in Japan where they take batter. They usually put some like chopped up octopus in it. They put them in little trays and they make little balls. So that you're served this hot kind of. No, it's not a pastry.
Is
It's just a.
Is it a ball?
It is a ball.
It's like a hush puppy.
So
Yeah,
then would
kind
you
of with, and it's usually a little like creamy still
or like
inside.
a matzo ball?
No, because it's not
so squid
bready.
balls. Squid balls?
So like a ball of squid.
Squid balls.
I guess.
Oh, it's
I
like,
guess.
it's like a creamy hush puppy, right?
Yeah.
It's like a hush puppy
Yeah,
with like a more
yeah.
creamy center.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
with
Or
seafood
almost,
in it.
Less
or almost like a
bready.
coddy.
No,
No.
because that's too meaty.
Okay, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
no.
not as bready as like a hush puppy.
It's like a round pancake with
Yeah.
octopus in it. It's just
it's
or
a light
spherical.
light batter, but it's enough batter to
Yeah.
make a ball.
Is it usually
Yes,
topped
so-
with like bonito or something?
Yeah, yes, and
Yeah, it is.
usually some
Is it
sauces
everything?
and some mayo, and so we are not
cheesy
making
mayo.
that sound very appetizing. They are amazing. I love them.
Oh yeah,
so
they are
much.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Admittedly, you have to like squid, but as long as you
Yeah,
like
or
squid
octopus.
or
So
for-
octopus,
yeah.
sorry.
Like for a place around that everybody has around that has them, I believe Bonchon has them as
Yes.
one of their appetizers.
Yeah,
and
they're pretty
Whenever
common.
we go, they're
so good.
they're gotten all the time, and people
Yes.
love them.
Yeah.
So the bag does have two cute little takoyaki mascots that are standing one on each other, and the sauce on their heads makes a little hair, and one has a little bow, and they're very happy to be here.
I like the little picture on the back. There's like a little round table with 4 or 5 takoyakis around it with smiley happy faces, and they're gathering to eat a plate of smaller takoyakis.
Don't think about it too hard. It also looks like it's advertising some brand of sauce because it has a picture of an actual tube of sauce. It's like, oh my gosh, this thing.
So and so's brand of takoyaki sauce.
Yeah, maybe. So they kind of look like tater tots.
I was gonna
Nice, I
say
mean-
the shape of those is definitely interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to make it round, but they do look like puffed
smells
tater tots.
fishy.
They smell delicious. No, they smell kind of like eel sauce, which it doesn't. Eel sauce doesn't taste like eel. It's just kind of like a sweet barbecue sauce.
It's
Yeah.
the sauce you put on eel. It's not
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
from eel. Yeah, it's sort of a sweet barbecue sauce, not quite a hoisin, but
So-
it's like
yeah,
it's more soy heavy and not as
delicious.
spicy.
Does
Yeah,
smell
so-
fantastic.
These didn't quite make it round as
my
the package
goodness.
would suggest.
I'm taking this one that's got more
The
flavor.
No,
package
they're
makes it look like they're
Roughly cylindrical, like short cylinders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they're
smell-
sort
they
of
smell real nice.
tater tot shaped. But yeah, the bag just looks
Oh.
like it's actual takoyakis that they
Yeah.
tried to
like
have.
like it's a bag full of
Now,
giant
I'll say,
cakes.
as someone who's admittedly not the biggest of seafood fans, I'm genuinely excited to see what this tastes like.
What?
Oh, Bruce just ate one. Hang on.
Have we had an amazing across the board episode of What the Food?
Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah, that is just it tastes like eel sauce kind of, or the sauce on takoyaki, which is similar to
Yeah.
eel sauce. And then there's like a hint to seafood, and then it's just like crunchy
Grilled.
and sweet. Yeah, a little grilled.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
you don't get like a huge like burst of seafood. It's not like you're getting punched
Yeah.
in the face
No.
by a squid or octopus.
But there's
Fantastic.
Yeah,
it's got that
there's
like,
a little,
hurt, and
very
the suckers
subtle.
would just
I would-
smack across your cheek.
I would say this almost tastes like seafood the same way if you're out there and you've had anything that's like an Old Bay crab chip. That same kind of like
the Utz brand.
yeah, where like you know that clearly there is no seafood in it, but it's kind of hinting at what seafood would be, but it's not
Yeah, because
seafood
it's got
really.
the seasonings that you associate with putting directly on seafood.
Yeah.
So
But
it
it's-
reminds you of seafood,
it's
but it
like
isn't.
they made a seafood stock and turned it into seafood stock bouillon, which
Yeah.
seafood stock mostly tastes like the seasonings and just a hint
Yeah.
of, it's not heavy like a beef stock or
And it's
chicken
got a
stock.
nice puff texture to it. You know,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's more of a puff and less like a chip.
Yeah,
but
it's like
they're-
a cheesy poof texture.
They're savory. They're a little sweet. They're a little tangy. They're a little creamy at the end.
And they don't
somehow.
Salty.
no lingering like aftertaste like you might expect. Some chips we've gotten that have been like seafood heavy
Yeah.
have a little bit of that aftertaste where you're like, man, this just won't go away. But this one finishes real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
In any other of our episodes, this would probably be a star, but I think this might be my least favorite of these particular 3 because the other 2 are so darn good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
This is an entire episode. We're almost going to have to pay this back to everybody by just eating something awful.
Oh, no.
Like,
Don't tempt them.
Don't promise things that we're going to have to do.
This is where we get surstreaming, Bruce. This is how that happened.
no, I
That's
don't
not-
want that.
I don't think-
this isn't.
No,
these
no.
weren't that good.
I don't think that's getting allowed in the house.
know what that is, but
these-
okay.
You don't know what surströmming is?
No.
We're not finding out.
Oh, no.
We are
Oh,
not
no.
finding out.
I'll
Google it
we'll talk
later.
after the
It's
episode.
later.
rotten
Yeah.
dead things that have fermented and died long
You
since.
have-
Oh, is
died.
that like the fermented shark from
Yes,
You
that's
have to-
exactly what it
Norway
is.
or whatever?
You have to open the can underwater or else it'll spray you with rotten juice.
Oh, cool. We should do that.
Yeah,
That
no.
sounds
Yeah,
great.
somebody.
Outside.
I saw
You
a
also
video
have to do it
recently of someone
outside.
opening it
We
in
should
their
do that
car.
in your house.
No.
That's
Big
a-
mistake, Dr. Jones. Big mistake.
Yeah,
His car smelled like that.
death, like
Forever.
death.
No, these are my favorite. I'm going to keep eating
But
these.
no, I agree with Mike
These
though.
are my
Like
favorite.
again, I'm not a seafood person. I'm very much not. That was wonderful. It's my least favorite of the 3, but I don't want to discount that and say that's a bad thing because these are all phenomenal.
In almost
Yeah.
any other group of what
Yeah.
the foods that we've done,
It's just
yeah,
such a
this
high
would
bar.
be like
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I can't believe that we even got lucky enough to eat this. Here, I still think it's real high up from these. These are all like fighting each other. I don't. This is fantastic. And let's do it one more time. Never had a show where I think we could do this every time. Hey, would you take it to a party?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm going to dissent. Also, these are my favorite. They are complex
Yep.
and amazing.
But you really, really like takoyaki.
Oh,
I know that.
I also, even though,
She really, really likes these, apparently.
well, even though I agree with Brian and Mike that they are my least favorite, I cannot fault Rocky for thinking it's not like
No.
there's a clear winner.
No,
They're
it's-
all so good that it's just personal preference.
Well, what I can say is this across the board. Yeah, I think might be the best what the food grouping we've ever had.
for our
The
experience.
highest scoring.
Yeah, the highest scoring.
Yeah.
For shows, I think it's not good at all. Because
Yeah.
I mean, our best what the food show was when you screamed through the whole thing because we made you eat durian.
That's
Yeah,
true.
we had to cut out 20 minutes of continuous screaming and put it at the end of the episode.
That is true, but I will say, like, in snack brackets, this would be a terrible, like, in this 3-way dance, I don't even know what to say.
And-
These would need to be separated so
Yeah.
that they didn't fight early.
Like
Yeah.
if these
Oh,
met
yeah.
in the first round of the tournament, I don't know who I would
you know,
put through.
they
Yeah.
just dominate everyone else for the rest of the tournament. whoever
America,
made it
get
through.
your act together and get these Doritos back.
for
Yeah.
real,
Right.
though.
and or taco
Yeah,
yaki puffs.
so
honestly
amazing.
don't know which is better between the Doritos and the chips, though.
So then we're going to close out with you picking the one you think is the best because we know all of them should go to a party. I don't know. You can't tell listening, but I'm gonna look around. Does anybody with hands feel like they have their answer? And I'll start with that person. Okay, Brian.
Doritos. Just it's a slightly different flavor. I don't know. I love the chips, the stuffing chips.
Yep.
But the Doritos just for whatever reason work a little more for me. But it's like 5% better.
I understand. Also, an additional Brian.
So I'm going to contrarian a little bit. I love the Doritos, but again, I don't want to say it's just sour cream and onion, but there's a lot of sour cream and onion chips. Where else are you going to get a Thanksgiving dinner chip that's this good?
I have
that,
no
that
idea.
delivers on the exact promise it gives you on the bag of what it's going to taste like. So again, by like a slight margin, but because of the uniqueness factor and because of it just hits it out of the park with exactly what it's telling you it's going to bring.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Thanksgiving chips.
How about-
Quick follow
Yeah.
up. Sorry. Is this which one I would rather take to a party of the 3 or which one I personally just want to eat a bunch more of by myself
I'm
in
gonna
the
say
house?
which one you would personally rather, because we take them all to a party. It's already past that bar. That's done.
Okay, then-
Which one you would personally rather eat?
Then yeah, I want to eat a whole bunch of the Doritos by myself. If I'm taking them places, I would take the stuffing chips.
Yeah, because they're just so novel. But no, this is to eat.
I'll just eat both. Just give me a bag of each one and let me double
not
fist
gonna-
it, and I'll be fine.
I'm not going to not eat any of them.
Agreed. How about you, Rock?
You know what my favorite is already.
Yeah, she pretty much already said
Yeah,
that.
the takoyaki.
They're so amazing.
Yeah.
And every moment they're sitting here open in front of me, I have to will myself not to reach back into
I was
the
gonna say,
bag.
I
if these
understand.
somehow
Yeah.
make it to the party next
They're not.
week,
not.
they
It's
will
not.
not. Okay,
It's not going to make it through the rest of the night.
Your sister's going to be very upset.
How about
I'll
you,
do
Mike?
I'm gonna have to go with the chip just for the mouthfeel more than anything else. I really like the fact that they did this with kettle chips, and their kettle chips in particular, they did it well. They're thicker. There's just more crunch there.
More going on.
Yeah.
Them thick boys.
Yeah.
I understand.
THICC.
Yeah.
Yeah. If these weren't kettle chips, I probably would go for the Doritos like that. The kettle is. It's the same reason I feel like how the best of the do-yourself-a-flavor chips that ever came out were the wasabi ginger chips from Lay's because they were kettle.
Yep.
To me, that put it over the edge. The flavor, I don't know. I'm very partial to kettle as well.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm going to take the takoyaki. I really, really like this because they just feel like something I can't get my hands on. Like they're just a snack taste that I just don't normally get to have, and I really, really like it. Although all of these were super fantastic, but I think that's the one that I'm going to have to pick. And with that, hey, they're just all great, and they're wonderful, and life is good, man. I've been your moderator, Bruce. Joining me on the show,
Takoyaki.
And not takoyaki.
Doritos.
Turkey.
and thank you for listening. And welcome back. Thank you so much for listening to the What the Food, the first half of our, it should be the mid-month. It really should be the mid-month cavalcade. I hope to fix it next month, but that the Spire got me. And I think is going to have me for a little while longer because the Spire is wicked. Just as a note to you, if you decide to get Slay the Spire, it's gonna grab hold of you. Another thing to note, if I've already talked about this, I apologize. I can't remember anymore because of the difference between when things happen and when we record and when we put things out. But we did, Rocky, Brian, and I did a panel at MagFest this year, and it was, I will say it myself, a smashing success. We actually managed to fill the room. Then they let people in for standing room. Then they shut the room and turned people away. So a lot of people there that were interested in party games and seeing all the different subgenres of party games. If you follow our social media, I think pretty much any of our social media, all of them we put it up. We don't normally work with slides when we do these. We normally just show actual game boxes under a camera, which I think this is our second year doing this panel. I think next year we're going to work with slides because they weigh less than bringing boxes of games. But we put up on our social media what the slides would have looked like had we done it with slides. So it gives you kind of an idea of the show that we made. As a note, if you're out there and you know of a convention, and that's pretty much any convention, that would be interested in a party games panel, let us know because we'd like to apply to them. Comic-Cons and anime conventions and old school video game conventions, whatever you got. We think there's a chance to find a lot of people that would be interested in party games content in those places. So if you know of one, especially if it's somewhere in the mid-Atlantic, please do not hesitate to let us know because we would love to apply and see if maybe we can be a part of it. I know right now we have applied to the Philadelphia Comic-Con. We'll see how that goes. I don't know what else at this point we've applied to, but pretty much anywhere that might be interested in board game content, we would love to do that show because a lot of people were excited to see all the different types of party games that there are that are not Cards Against Humanity. So we had a lot of fun with that. Yeah. So that's pretty much how early January went for us as we were here at the very end of January. Through the show, I've been talking about video games. We're now going to jump into the video game we are obligated to cover each and every year. If you listen to the main feed, we have talked about a couple of video games on there, and you may have noticed we did not talk about the new Jackbox. The original plan for the main show, for what was the January episode, was that we were going to talk about Jackbox. And then we played some of the other games, and we decided we wanted to give them the spotlight first. Our Jackbox content went to Patreon, and now it is coming to you. So here we're going to talk about Jackbox Party Pack 6, I believe it is, as we run through all the different games, how we feel about them, compare, contrast, talk about them versus the old Jackbox Party Packs, all that great stuff. So if you're looking for that sweet, sweet video game content that we do once in a blue moon, or roughly every year to year and a half based on when Jackbox puts out their games, it is now that time as we talk about Jackbox Party Pack 6. Enjoy this, and I'll talk to you on the other side. Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Patreon party. I'm your moderator, Bruce. Joining me on the Patreon party is Rocky.
Hey.
Mike.
Party.
Brian.
Yo, yo, yo.
Also an additional Brian.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am also and additionally tired.
That is unfortunate.
Why would you be tired?
It's only 12 a.m.
Well, until the
47.
AM.
Yeah.
We are working here till the AM for y'all.
Slaving
for our
away.
patrons on patreon.com. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We do genuinely appreciate it. We thank you for all the things that help us upgrade our equipment and get fantastic, new, strange, what the foods and games and all that great stuff. And on this episode, we're going to talk about is Jackbox Party Pack 6. Now, we are going to note we're not going to go into incredible detail on every game because most of these are going to kind of feel like games you've already played in the series before. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each game, tell you basically how it works, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up with which ones we think were good, which ones we think were bad, which in the series we think were the ones you shouldn't pay attention to, and which ones are the standouts, okay? So, Brian, you are looking at a list of the games. So one by one, call the game out. We will tell everybody how that game works, and then we can get into discussion.
Okay. And the Jackbox site has a quick little one-sentence description. I'm going to let that be the lead-in. So Trivia Murder Party 2. Popular Trivia Deathmatch. Trivia Murder Party 2 for 1 to 8 players. Try to survive the bizarre new minigames.
So Trivia Murder Party 2 is basically Trivia Murder Party. If you ever played it before, I think that's Jackbox 3. It's one of the highest rated games on Jackbox. Basically, 1 to 8 players. You start out in a creepy hotel. You have a trivia question. There's 4 choices. If you get it right, good. If you get it wrong, you go to the killing room. And you compete against other people. There are mini games like do this math really quick. If anyone else beats you, you die. Choose a spot in a box. If someone skewers you with a sword through it, you die, etc., etc. It goes until there's one person left or until everybody dies. At the end, you try to escape with a bunch of quick-fire trivia where the person in the lead gets 2 questions. The people trying to catch up, the ghosts, get 3 questions to try to catch you. And that's basically it. It's almost identical to the previous one with new mini games. And the one thing I like about this game that is better than the previous Trivia Murder Party is in order to leave and win the game, you have to get all of the questions right on the last pick. So if it's, name these breeds or which one of these is a breed of horse, and it says Tennessee Walker, London Stomper, and Morgan. If you didn't get the correct ones on that and you're right at the end, and someone behind you gets all 3 of them right, they pass you because even though you got the one, you don't make it out because there's a gate there. So I think that's the one major improvement of this game.
Minor correction, if you're behind and you catch up, you can't also exit in the same round.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, you have to
you
be
don't get out
in the
that
lead.
round.
You have to be the only living person on the board because there can only be one. And then you have to get a perfect score when you're 2 or less spaces away
basically,
from the exit.
other than that, it's Trivia Murder Party with some new mini games. And it still does what it does very well.
Indeed. And some of the mini games also make you laugh even if you've seen this whole thing happen before. You're like, oh, that's a fun thing.
Yeah, and even the minigames that are the same as before, it's just new text. Like, it's the same game but they changed the lines, and, it's the same sarcastic saw murder host guy.
Let's go on to the next one.
The next game is Role Models, the offbeat personality test role models for 3 to 6 players. Find out who you really are, or at least what your friends think of you.
Yeah, you have to vote on a category first of different traits, so like superpowers. And then you go through and assign different superpowers that it has assigned you to all of the people playing, and then whoever... they go through and decide for each person what their superpower is by how many people picked which superpower. So if 4 people picked could fly for Brian, then he can fly. Yeah.
Yeah, you get described as can fly.
Yes, you can also kind of gamble that 99% of people will pick this thing for this person, and then you get bonus science cubes. I guess the person with the most science cubes at the end wins.
Yep.
Also, it turns into a weird personality test at the end based on what traits have been assigned you, that it assigns you other traits based on that. So it makes kind of broad generalizations. And so, like mine at the end, I was the magic independent super powerhouse, which were not things that we voted on. It's just things that decided for me.
Yeah, the combination of things you get along the way sort of gets morphed into something else
Yes.
by the end.
And that's the entire premise of it, is that you're at like a personality lab that's going to learn about who you are as a person. And they figured out that groups of people have like the smart one and the cool one and the bad boy that needs to be tamed. And this whole game is trying to figure out which one you are.
Yeah, it's archetypes and stereotypes. And then you're basically your lab rats or human lab rats in a science experiment. Yeah. That's why you get science cubes. There's these cute little pellets.
Yeah, and that's literally, they're like, here's science cubes. They're good for points and also tasty.
Yeah, it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's got cutesy art.
And that's the whole game.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Our next game is Joke Boat. The comedy contest, Joke Boat, 3 to 8 players, craft one-liners for a cruise ship talent show.
So, essentially, Joke Boat works like this. It starts off as Mad Libs. It says, hey, I'm going to just give you Mad Lib things. Give me answers. And it's like, hey, give me a noun, give me a brand, give me a pluralized this, give me a person's first name. And everybody's doing that at the same time, and it uses it to start creating these one-liner jokes. And then it says, like, hey, we're going to give you 2 jokes. Complete the joke. And it uses the one-liner, or uses the Mad Libs that you just filled out as a group to start filling in these one-liner jokes. So you'll get the first half where it will be something like,
my middle school was like Godzilla.
Yeah, well, and what it'll do is my middle school was like blank, and then it'll give you 3 of the words from the word pool to pick from.
Yes.
And then you assign that word.
And then you complete the one-liner
Yeah.
to say how your middle school experience was like Godzilla.
Yeah. Thank you, because I forgot that I got multiple choices.
It
of
gives
that.
you
I did completely forget
it gives you
that.
2 prompts with a blank, and then you pick which one you want. Then it gives you 3 words to fill in the blank, and then that's the setup. And then it's a empty space, and you have like a minute and a half to write the punchline.
And then essentially you're going to do 2 jokes this way. And then it's going to put you up on stage, and you're going to go against another comic. And it's your setup and their setup, and then the whole room decides who wins the joke battle. So you're going to go through that, and that is your first round of collecting super awesome joke wins. And then in the second round, it says, hey, people did, and I'm trying to remember because I'm mixing up my second and my third round. Second round is did better than a previous person, or is it another round of the same?
Second round is another round of the same with higher points.
Okay, thank you. And then it's the exact same thing, but it's using all of the Mad Libs that it already went in the very beginning of the game. Then in the third round, it says, hey, here are the best jokes that we've seen. You now have a chance to write a better joke than the best jokes we've seen for more points. And then that's where it closes on, is you trying to beat a better joke. While this is happening, you are on a boat. So it is supposed to be like the Love Boat, but it's jokes.
It's called the C-.
Yep.
Ha ha ha.
SCA.
Yeah.
And it sinks by colliding with a rubber ducky.
Yeah, you're comics on a cruise ship, basically. Yeah. And you have to, apparently the person who's funniest is allowed to get a life vest.
The last round, your audience is no longer the people, it's the lobsters at the bottom of the sea.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, very clever.
It does that whole thing.
Tongue-in-cheek.
And the whole time you're filling in answers, and like that moment where you're waiting for everyone else to get done, it's the captain's log. And it's literally the exact moment you're at right now. So it will say like November 22nd, 3:13 p.m. And he'll just write things about like, I was a Cap 1. Here's my new book, How to Go from Being a Cap 1 to a Cap 10.
Or sinking was not the least part, the worst part of my day, and it shows a little doodle of him standing on the scale.
Yeah.
And crying.
And as it goes along, because first he's the captain of a brand new joke boat, and then he's like, hey, we're still in the water, and then he crashes. So it starts off like happy, and I'm awesome, and things are great. And then like, oh, we're even going further. I'm such a cool dude. It's so awesome to be here. And the last one, every single thing he writes is depressing.
Yeah.
So there is basically Joke Boat. Hey, do some Mad Libs. Use it to write some jokes. Write some more jokes. Write a better joke than the best joke you've seen, and hopefully live.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And there's one winner based on money by the end.
Yep.
All right, so our next game is Dictionarium. The Weird Word Circus Dictionarium for 3 to 8 players. May the funniest definition win.
So Dictionarium is, as Brian just said, it is a word game that is based on definitions and sort of made up words. So it starts with giving you a made-up word, and everyone has to write what they think a good definition would be for that word. And then everyone, when they're done, everyone votes on who's the best definition. And then it says, okay, so that's the definition for that word. Now write a synonym. And everyone has to create a synonym for that word with that meaning that we've all agreed would be the great meaning for this. And then that whoever wins that one becomes the synonym. And then in the last round, we have to use that synonym in a sentence. And everyone writes a sentence with that word. And the best sentence then wins. And at the end of it, you can save the words into the archive.
Yep.
Theoretically, because we played this at Extra Life, and I know we played it on this copy, this Steam account.
Yep.
In fact, the same machine. And I know we saved something, and then when we played it again today, it wasn't there, which is upsetting because it was all making fun of Bruce.
I want to say I have a vague memory, because, it's all cloudy at that point in the morning.
It was kind of late.
That someone said to delete it so we didn't hurt Bruce's feelings.
Oh my God! Must have been not any of you.
No,
Michelle.
it was not me.
We were making fun of your data port incident that you had.
That is
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And it was funny in the moment and probably cruel, or at least not funny later. So I could see how someone was like, this is just going to make no sense and might be kind of seem mean.
So yeah, one point to Matt that in the archive thing is it actually saves the synonym as the word, because that's the word that we made
because
up.
that is the word that we created from the beginning as a synonym. They start us off with a made up word, and then we create a definition for it. And then the synonym we already have a definition for it because it's a synonym for the first word.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a sentence that it can be used in. So we have an entire dictionary entry for a word that we have collectively made up.
Yeah, it's the word, the definition, then derived from, and the little word they started from, and then usage, and it's a sentence. It looks like an actual dictionary. It's nice.
So yeah, and that's it. And at the end, you have these cool entries, and it's the same thing. I am to assume that those entries are going to continue to work once no one clears the bank off. So we'll have all the things we've come up with in the past, which is a super cool function of this particular game. It's kind of neat to have one of those. In board games, you often would have this sort of situation. It would be written down, and you could kind of keep those scraps of paper in your copy of the game and go back and look at them later.
Or you can legacy it.
Legacy it. And I think it's neat to see a video game try to do this. I mean, because it's easy for a video game to do, but you don't see it happen often.
Yeah, and it doesn't affect future play, but it would be neat if you play it kind of regularly to, like, 6 months from now, be like, hey, there's 20 words. Remember that time we came up with this? That was a fun time. Ha ha ha.
Indeed.
All right, so there's one more game.
Okay.
It is called Push the Button, the hidden identity game. Push the button for 4 to 10 players. Can you discover the aliens in time? And like it says, it's a hidden role game. The basic premise is you are on a spaceship in the future, and there are between 4 and 10 of you. The AI that runs the ship comes on and says, hey, we've been invaded by aliens. 2 people on board are been replaced by aliens. We're not sure. I can't tell who they are. They've infected me with a virus. In 15 minutes, the AI will die and the aliens will take over the ship. You have 15 minutes to figure out who the aliens are. And each round, it's going to randomly pick someone to be the quote-unquote captain. And that person gets to pick any other 2 crew members and put them through a test. And there's a bunch of different kinds of tests. It'll ask you to draw something, and then you'll compare your drawings, and basically the idea is the aliens get a different prompt than the humans. So you have to figure out, it'll tell you what the human prompt was, but not what the alien prompt was. And you have to vote as a group on who you think was the alien based on their prompt, but you can only test 2 people at a time. And then the captain role passes to another person, and they test 2 more people. And it has a list where you can go back and look at how many tests someone has been through and how many times they've been voted for as an alien. After each round, you get a different set of tests to pick from. As the game goes on, more tests become available. At some point, I think the 3rd or 4th round, you get a test where you can you test 2 people and they're doing a symbol matching. It's sort of, what's the bomb game?
Oh, keep talking and nobody explodes.
Sort of like that. It's, the captain sees a symbol and they describe it to the other two people, and you have to like match the symbols based on their description, and the alien can just lie and say they got it wrong. But if you get both of them right, you can directly query someone's role and know for certain whether that person is an alien. The aliens at some point, I don't think on the first turn, but it's like the aliens both know who each other are. And at some point later in the game, they start to be able to either take a human and give them the wrong prompt like an alien would have, or they can take an alien and give them the right prompt like a human would have. So you can cast doubt or mask each other. And I haven't been an alien yet, so I don't know exactly how that works.
It literally says on your screen, because I've been an alien, it says, hey, interesting thing right now, you can change someone's prompt if you'd like.
It's like a hack button.
Okay.
Yeah.
you
And you
hack
just
the
pick
prompt.
someone and it flips it to whatever they aren't.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and it's something like that. And basically, so that's the general thing you're doing. There's a timer for 15 minutes. There's also a big red button on everyone's screen that says the button. And at any time other than during, like, not while two people are being tested and writing their answers, but any other time other than when answers are being given and voted on, you can push the button and it will stop the game. It'll stop the timer, and you get one guess to put two people into the airlock. And you pick whoever pushed the button picks which two people they put in the airlock, and then everyone who isn't in the airlock and isn't the person who pushed the button gets to vote on whether those two people in the airlock are the aliens. If everyone who's not in the airlock agrees that those two people are in the aliens, then the AI will tell you. And if they are both, well, it'll blow them both out into space.
Yep.
And they die. And if they're aliens, they'll turn into aliens as they die, and you'll know you win. And if they aren't, then you killed a human. And do you lose if that happens?
Yes.
Okay, you
do.
lose if you accidentally kill a human. And if there's a not unanimous, then nothing happens and you all rejoin the crew and your timer restarts. And now whoever pushed the button can never vote again or can never push the button again. You get one of those. So if everyone runs out, everyone uses their buttons before the 15 minutes is up, you lose. If the time runs out and you haven't found the aliens, you lose. If you accidentally space a human, you lose. And that's pretty much it.
And all of that makes it sound like it would be a tough game for the humans to win. Yet
not.
I've never seen the humans lose.
Yeah, in all twice I've played it, I've never seen the humans lose either. But I mean, it's not as hard as it sounds. You do have to pay a little more attention than maybe some of the other trivia-based games.
Oh, definitely.
But it's not. I think I'm probably biased. Hidden role games are one of my favoriteest things. They're a little backstabbity. Like, I kind of want to be an alien just so I can start messing with other people's prompts, because that sounds entertaining to me.
And this game, there's another Jackbox game. It's like who's the liar or whatever that ends up being.
Faker or something.
Yeah,
like
who's the faker? That game.
Yeah.
Where like the hidden prompt where it's like you'll get a prompt that said, the prompt will be, "What is the last movie you watched?" Or no, but the alien prompt will be, "What is your favorite movie?" And it might be something like, hey, you pick your favorite movie as a movie like Citizen Kane or something back. And then it's like, really? The last movie you watched was Citizen Kane? But some of them might be believable. Other ones are completely opposite. So they'll give you a list of like, I strongly agree with this. I strongly disagree with this. And the prompt may be vastly different. But the ability that's cool for the aliens to know who each other are and both either hack the humans or hack themselves. So I think Rocky and I were aliens in this game.
Yeah.
And at one point, Rocky had hacked me to have the correct prompt, and I had hacked Mike to have the incorrect prompt.
Yeah, you did.
He freaked
And
out.
he didn't understand. He's like, that wasn't the prompt I had. And it's like, well, now that you know how it works, it's kind of cool. So it actually gave him the wrong one and me the right one. So it kind of casts some doubt if one of the other ones hadn't already outed me as an alien anyway.
Yeah, like I knew you were an alien from the time we went head to head, but like I wasn't 100%, but I was pretty sure. But then like Mike gave an answer like it was an alien, but his genuine human reaction of like, that's not what it asked me, was like, maybe he's acting, but that seems really genuine.
That'd be a really good. And then there was another one where Brian just misanswered.
Yeah, it asked me what the movie I had watched most recently was, and I said Firefly when I meant Serenity.
And because of that, I was like, throw him out of the airlock. Let's call this a day. I already know Rocky's bad.
Yep.
Brian's starting to turn. Let's get him out
And of
before
course,
one of us gets grabbed by a tentacle.
The funny part about that was Bruce put up Rocky and Brian was a human and I was an alien. And so the people that were voting on that were Bruce, myself, who was an alien, who's clearly going to say yes, and Mike. And Mike was the only reason that game was saved because he wasn't convinced that Bruce's quick trigger pull was right.
Yeah, because apparently there's no solidarity among aliens. As long as one of you is left alive, you win.
Absolutely.
So, space hurts, fine, I'll still win.
You gotta fulfill the mission.
Yeah.
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 So this is just such an interesting mix of any of these social deduction games. I think this sort of is supposed to feel like a party game version of Battlestar Galactica.
I've never played that.
Oh. Yeah, definitely not a party game.
Yeah, no, definitely not a party game, but it's, hey, who are the Cylons? I'm not a Cylon, you're a Cylon. And then you do different missions
You're
together.
a Cylon.
Or like, I would say, what is the one?
Resistance?
Yeah, that's
I'm Resistance.
the one where you have to, you're in a room and you don't know where it is and you have to ask questions of each other.
And everybody went silent.
Spy something. You know,
Spyfall.
yeah, Spyfall. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I was not a huge fan of that game, but it's sort of like that too, because like you're getting the wrong prompt, you know, and so you have to kind of bluff. Like the reason I said Titanic was because I totally watched that last night. Not that it's just my favorite movie, you know, but I also it's my favorite movie, and therefore I watch it once a week. That's why I've seen it most recently.
Yeah,
like,
and most of those,
nonsense.
like you're gonna end up being outed, and that's the thing. As long as you can stop someone like me, who's just like, grab this person, throw them out of the airlock. As long as you can stop someone like me from doing that.
I love that Bruce admits that he's just a wild card.
Oh no, I was not bolted. That's why, like, there was no when it didn't work, and Mike was like, I can't vote for it. I wasn't mad about it. I was like, I get it, but I think we're gonna die. But I'm here. I understand why you wouldn't go with me.
And Mike's just like, we have 10 minutes left. Let's get some more data.
Yeah, we'd only had 2 rounds of tests with 5 people. That means only 4 people
Bruce
had been
that's
tested.
2 rounds where we've proven that these people are aliens.
That was
Get them
exactly-
out the damn ship.
Even Mike was like, we haven't even tested me yet. I'm like, we don't need to. You're looking for a test. That means you're people. I'm killing aliens.
And the problem is you were so animated about this that I couldn't make the argument that, like, did you really watch Titanic yesterday? Because he's like, you named the TV show you watched most recently, not the movie, you alien. And I'm like, I just got it wrong. Because yes, it's my favorite movie. And also I watched it most recently. And also I got the name wrong because I'm an idiot and I'm tired.
And I'm like, that's like
They
something
just
an
didn't
alien
believe
would
me
say.
I had a question where it was, what book has influenced you the most? And I gave my answer. I was not hacked. I was human.
Nope.
I gave an honest answer to the question, and they just didn't believe me. I'm like, well, what can I do?
And it was also a case where Brian was the other person answering, and he literally just wrote the entire prompt.
Yes.
He was like, there has never been a book that has ever influenced anything I have ever done.
Which only worked because he didn't get hacked. Because if he had been hacked,
that would have been it.
that
I
would
would
have been
have
a
thrown
real
him out of the
problem.
airlock again.
Well, and I wasn't even
No, you
thinking.
wouldn't have because you don't get the button twice.
I wasn't thinking meta like that. After I submitted my answer, I'm like, oh, that's sort of cheating. I kind of rephrased the question. But it said, name a book that changed your life. And I'm like, I've never read a book that altered my life permanently. I've read a lot of books I like. I've taken things from books to be meaningful personally. But I've never been like, after this book, my life is measured as before this book and after this book. And I haven't.
No, that's the question.
So, and that's how I interpreted it. So I'm like, I can't name a book that changed my life, so I won't. I'm not going to lie.
It would have been really funny if you had been hacked, though, as I think that would have gotten Bruce back
I
on
would
the
have
phone.
been
Oh my
yelling
God.
at that point, like, I told you! How many times? Kill him!
I would have hit the button next and thrown him out there.
And
I understand.
and just so the audience knows, the way Bruce is play acting right now is not play acting.
It's not.
He is this level of unreasonable and unlistening in a lot of trader games where it's him and I know it is and I won't hear otherwise. And you're like, all right, that's so when it's
Problem
not him.
is, he's that loud no matter what team he's on.
That
Yes.
is also
So
true.
it's not just him trying to cast doubt on someone because he's the traitor.
It's
It's just him being him. Every game, whatever team he's on, Bruce is being Bruce.
You're not wrong, but honestly, I don't know why I'm pretty good at catching him lying when he's traitor. There's
Yeah,
something
I'm not-
in his eyes that
Yeah.
I'm just picking up on.
I'm not super good at that.
I can see that, like, I'm doing this, but don't mean it this time, and I can just read that expression. Another reason I like playing those games with you, because you like playing dexterity games with me, because I drop stuff. I like playing hidden rolls, because you make faces and give it away.
Yeah, I'm not the best at those. I'm not a
That's
bad
fine.
poker player, But
you were actually pretty good.
I'm not a bad poker player, but I'm not a great... For whatever reason, that same skill set that at poker I'm not all that bad at, I am real not good at it in trader games.
In poker, you're not really... Like, bluffing is different than spinning a tail.
True.
And you are good at spinning a tail.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I need, as much as when I'm done it's not the truth, it's the truth when I start, and I need that kernel of truth to build on.
Uh-huh.
So I think we're going to tie a bow on this like this. Would you take it to a party? It's a Jackbox game. The answer is always going to be yes. What I want you to tell me is there are 5 games in this, and every time we always say, like, okay, you actually bought 2 games with 3 games bolted to it. Tell me the games in here, because we're going to we'll assume that you like it. Which ones are the ones you think are unnecessary that you may not find yourself playing unless you're doing something like this where we're going to talk about it? So the assumption is you're going to take this to a party, and that all the other games you think are great, you would definitely play again, and they're wonderful, and they're good for parties. Tell me the ones in here that you think you can just cut off and just be done with that are in this particular package. Rock?
Joke boat.
Okay, Joke Boat?
It's too painful too often,
Okay.
and I don't find myself enjoying it. Maybe, what's the word one?
Dictionarium?
Yeah, it's enough that I can't remember what it's called. I could take it or leave it. Like, playing it is okay, but I don't really need it, nor will it be my first, second, or third choice. So.
Okay, so then to end each of these positively,
Yes.
so then taking it to a party, Trivia Murder Party 2,
Yeah.
Push the Button,
Yeah.
and Role Models.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Mike?
I would take Trivia Murder Party. I would probably take Push the Button. I don't want to throw out Joke Boat because it has the potential, if you get the right people and they're into it, it can be just fantastic. Some of the
Agreed.
jokes we've written are just amazing.
Definitely.
But at the same time, it does have the potential to just absolutely tank. So I'm gonna have to leave that one on the cutting room floor, I think. Along with, I don't think Role Models makes the cut for me because it's just forced. I mean, it's so just artificial where you're just assigning stuff that you've got no control over because you have to assign something.
Yep.
And it's not funny. It's not that entertaining.
I can see it. Brian?
I'm kind of on Mike's level here. I think Role Models and Joke Boat would be the 2 that I would drop.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like I want to play each one 2 or 3 more times just before I can fully rule them out.
And that's a great sign.
But yeah, and like I don't hate them, but like they're the ones I'm least looking forward to playing. And I think, like Mike said, Role Models has the it's always going to be middle of the road, but I feel like that's just going to make it boring. So I feel like a couple more plays, unless I suddenly see something in it that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to get with that, which is like a bunch of prompts that are like, none of these are good. So I guess I'll just, sure.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not fun if everyone's just sitting around. So that's not good. And Joke Boat, it has a lot more potential to be funny, like Mike said, but it also has a lot of potential to just be painful. And again, I would play it a few more times. It also depends on who I'm playing it with. Like if you're
Definitely.
there, I think you can save it. If
Yeah.
I'm playing with other group of friends and like I'm the funniest one, we're not playing that. And that's fine. But like, and for me to put the pretty bow on it, I really like Push the Button because it's one of my favorite mechanics.
Yep.
It's different enough from most other things. Like Faking It's fun, but it's so small and quick. This is like a more elaborate version of that. Trivia Murder Party is a game I've played a ton of. The first one, I would play the 2. The like shine is worn off that. But
Yeah.
I've played it enough that I know I like it, and I'm going to continue liking it. And this new version where you can't get out unless you're perfect is a nice twist.
Yep.
And Dictionarium, like I said before, is a nice kind of in between game. Like it's a lighter, because the other 2 I picked are a little heavier. They're more involved.
Yep.
Dictionarium's just light. Like we're just going to make some silly words for a couple minutes and then go about whatever else. But like you were Trivia Murder Partying and you're trivia'd out, or we just played a bunch of like intense rounds of finding the traitor and you're like, I just need something lower brain power. And it's still fun. It's entertaining, but it's almost more of an activity.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's for me.
Also an additional Brian.
I feel like if you're buying this, you're buying it for Trivia Murder Party and Push the Button. I feel like that those 2 are the standouts of this. Dictionarium is fun. It's light. it's not going to drive people away as often. I think it's a word game. People like it, but they're not going to hate it, I don't think. Joke Boat is either 100% great or completely 0%.
Yeah.
Like, it's so middle of the road that I think you can leave it off. And role models, being so dependent on the crew you're with, like, it can be just mean at times.
Yeah,
it
I did
really
notice
can.
that, yeah.
So I feel like you leave those two off, you keep the other three. Dictionariums, like Brian said, it's your like light. We played a bunch of the other ones. Let's get something a little different to like refresh the palate kind of thing. But you're buying this for Trivia Murder Party 2, and you're buying this for Push the Button.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
and you are buying it for those games. Like, you, like, both, if you're buying it, you're getting those, and you should be willing to buy it to get those because they are that good.
Yeah, where, like I think you said, Dictionary, you're not buying it for Dictionarium, or if you already own it, you're not whipping it out and say, you know what we need to play is Dictionarium.
Well, like, you're
you
buying...
will play it once it's out.
You're buying Party Pack 2 for, like, Bidiots and whatever the other ones.
Exactly.
You're buying Party Pack 3 for Trivia Murder Party and Faking It and whatever.
Yeah.
The other games, like Guespionage, you can take that or leave it,
Yeah.
right? You know, it's like, we played it a couple times, but there's always at least one standout, I think, on every single one.
Like
Yeah.
T-Fury, obviously.
TKO.
TKO.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
T-Fury is an
And-
actual website.
Yeah, T-Fury is a
I
real
think-
thing. Sorry.
I think maybe Jackbox 4 was one of the exceptions that didn't have as strong of a... Didn't have at least two strong ones. But in general, those two.
And I think you're right. Trivia Murder Party and Push the Button are the two you're buying this for. For me, as the person that can save Joke Boat, I'm going to do that here too. I like Joke Boat, but I do think it requires somebody like me that's willing to like actively remind you this should be funny. And a game shouldn't need that. I totally understand why that's one of them that should be left out, yet still I like it and I would keep it, but I get it. Dictionarium's fun. I totally agree with that's the third one where you're like, sure. If I don't play role models again, I think I'll be okay. I think that falls into that like just pit of games that have been on Jackboxes where you're like, you know, it's really neat they made that game. Do you play it? No. Played it once when it first came out. I haven't played it since, but I'm glad they did it. That's, I think, how I feel like. I think the premise is fun. I think some of the like voiceover works cool. Some of the jokes are cute, but I found the actual activity not entertaining enough for me. But the rest of them I think are great. I think it's once again another fantastic pack to be worth getting, but like all of them, there's a couple you can just kind of push under the bed and not worry about. Thank you so much for listening. I've been your moderator, Bruce, joining me on the show.
Jerkbert.
I'm not a jerk, Bert. You're a jerk.
You want to get on a Jerkbert?
I don't want to get on.
Want to
a
ride a
That
Jerkbert?
doesn't sound good at all.
No? Take a ride on the Jerkbert? No?
Near jerk, Bert.
I'm definitely not an alien, I promise.
Murder.
That's a spicy waffle.
I've been waiting for that all episode.
Thanks for listening. No matter how well you try to lay out a plan at the beginning of a conversation, when you say we're not going to talk in a ton of detail about anything, it just doesn't always work. We're trying to get better at that, but that clearly failed there. Hope you enjoyed our annual, as it appears to be, talk about all the great games from Jackbox. I really do think there's a lot of fantastic things that are going on sort of in the video game space as far as board games go. I know there's a lot of talk about people not wanting to buy board games that have digital apps and things like that. I can say I think I'm probably a fan, but I certainly understand the idea of thinking that a board game is something that can never and will never go away. That as long as the cardboard is still good, your 1951 copy of Risk is still playable, and that board games should always be that for as long as board games are around. I don't know. I like Chronicles of Crime. I enjoy it, even understanding that in 10 years I may not be able to play it, but I'm enjoying it now, so I get that. But a lot of video games out there to talk about really cool things. And as you find any of those, please let us know on all of our social media. Any kind of cool video games that you see that feel like they could be a party game sort of situation. Use Your Words, of course, that we talked about, was one that we hardly even knew anything about and stumbled into it. So if there are more out there, please let us know, because we are interested in those as well as standard board game party games. Anything that can bring people together and give people positive, fun interactions, that's what we want to do on this show. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, all the Patreons at patreon.com, thank you so much for supporting the show and for making it so that we can take these episodes that were for you and put them out for everyone else. Remember, just tell everyone you've ever met about the show. We would appreciate that. Go to Apple Podcasts and just rate the heck out of the show. We really appreciate that. We're going to start reading some of the comments that come from there soon enough. I also know if you want to reach us, you can call us at 30 Party Game, 30 PARTYGAME. Not the episode that's coming out in a couple of days, but the one that's going to come out for February. We are actually going to, at the beginning of the show, take a bunch of calls. So that should be a real long episode for those of you that like long episodes, because also food and games. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and there'll be a new episode of the main show coming out, goodness, in probably like 3 or 4 days. Thank you so much for listening.